Morning everybody, this is day 4 of Wilbur's Arctic adventure, and today we are going to get into Norway. This is where the adventure really starts. It's rudely early, it's like 6 AM, which wasn't my plan. This was supposed to be my lazy day. And what's happened is that the ferry company called me yesterday and said that they've cancelled the ferry that I had booked, which was the fast ferry to Kristiansand, and would it be okay to change it? And I said, yeah, sure, you know, because I'm flexible on the travel and whatever. Unfortunately, the one I'm on is now the slow one, and it goes to Langesund, which is 150 kilometres northeast of where I wanted to be. So my plan of riding, of getting the fast ferry, lazy morning, fast ferry, and 150 k's this afternoon, has now turned into slow ferry, early start, and 350 k's or so, which I was hoping to avoid and just give Wilbur a bit of a break today. But anyway, it's the way it is. We've just got to deal with it. Again, once I'm in Norway, I can adjust the schedule. So that's the plan today. So going to get a cup of tea on. I've got a croissant spare from yesterday's breakfast, so that's sorted. Get the tent on, and I need to be on the road by 7:30. The port is 5 minutes that way, so at least that's pretty handy. So we can get on, get the tent down and get that packed up. Get it all rolled up because it makes it easier to get out next time. It does fit into the bags very easily. It's a nice tent, that's for sure. And with that done, we can get everything loaded up onto the bike and all those bits and pieces sorted out. Get me bed and the chair and such like done. And we'll be ready and on the road. Well, that's it. It's 7:15 in the morning. The sun's just been rising over there. Got camp packed up. It's taken me an hour and a quarter this morning, including having breakfast and a wash and everything else, and that took me 2.5 hours yesterday, so I've no idea what I was doing yesterday. Faffing about, I think. That's more like it. So I'm going to go and check out of the camping. I wish you could smell this. It's like fresh pine air. All these forests and everything else around here. This is an absolute gem, this campsite. I'm so pleased I found it. Let's go to the ferry. It was a lovely morning for it, and it was about 5 minutes through the forest in the areas here just near the campsite, and then it opens up just near the coast. We're coming into the dock area here, past more wind sticks, and the furthest one that you can see is where the boat is. That's it, let's get checked in. Well, we're on the ferry to Langesund, so we got 4.5 or 5 hour crossing because we're on the slow boat because the catamaran's broken. The guy at the campsite said that this is pretty normal and it breaks down all the time, so it's no surprise. There's a lot of people here that have had their ferries changed at the last minute. But anyway, we're on board and it's just a perfect day for sailing, so have a look at that. And we're just going to enjoy the crossing, fill ourselves full of coffee and cake, and then we've just got an extra 150 k's to do on the other side, so we'll plan our journey and work out what we're going to do, and just keep an eye on the oil leak, hope it's okay. Well, that was me being hopeful. Of course it wasn't okay. You'll find out in the next episode. But there we are. Goodbye Hertzhals, and we're on the sea. It's absolutely flat, calm and still. So I can stick my feet up, take my bike boots off, which always feels good, and enjoy the journey. So as usual on the journeys, we've found some more bikers, and we've got Peter and Sonia who are here, and they're travelling. Here they are.
Hi, I'm Peter.
I'm Sonia.
And we are from Bavaria, from the south of Germany. And we go to Norway, travel there, see some fjords. I ride on this trip with a 2010 street guide. Which bike you have?
And I drive a Harley Davidson Strippo.
Okay. And we learned this nice guy to meet there on the ferry boat. And we have now some nice hours together.
Have a good journey.
Yeah, wish you the same. See you.
So the boat's actually powered by LNG. I hadn't seen that before, but the duty-free is powered by 60% Finnish vodka and AC/DC thunder. Who'd have thought? So I decided to go and get me lunch, and this is Killing with Salt Mandler, whatever that is. Anyway, they were both good. I had no idea what they were. And as I hang over the edge of the boat here, you can just see Norway coming into view. Well, that's Norway behind me there. So that's it. 5 countries, 4 days. Well, I hope Wilbur hasn't leaked oil all over the boat. But that's it. The ferry's pretty busy, but we'll get going. Get the bike off the ferry, get through customs, and then we're heading to the campsite. Unfortunately, I've got 150 k's of motorway to do before I start heading towards the coast roads, but that's the way it is. Just got to deal with it and try and go steady. Norway. Pretty good. That's a big milestone. So we fire up Wilbur and get ourselves off the boat. So Wilbur's Avon Roadmaster and safety mileage tyres, there we are. They've touched Norwegian ground for the first time. So we're in the queue to get out of the docks, and I'm thinking they're going to be asking where we're staying, what we're doing, check passports, check us for alcohol, check us for COVID and everything else. Anyway, the guy there was just stood there. We rode round him and up here, and I thought this was like an English docks where you'll go for miles and miles and weave your way around. And then I look around and I realise we're out of the port. That was it. That was the border check. And that sign there says Norway. Happy days. We're here. So we just wander through the town from the docks and head towards the motorway. But first I just need to stop and put my gear on properly. I didn't put my gloves and stuff on, thinking I was going to have to get my passport and things out. That's it, we're in Norway. That couldn't have been easier. So all I've got to do is I'm going to clean my visor and put my gloves on and stuff, and Kristiansand next aiming point, and then down to somewhere down further south and onto the coast road, which is where the fun begins. Anyway, 150 k's of motorway, you don't need to see that, but we're here. Well, poor old Wilbur. It was stinking hot and the traffic was just brutal. As you can see here, the road's been planed, so it's rough. We've got the concrete barriers and narrow lanes, and I don't even know if we're allowed to filter in Norway. I never looked. And then it got worse. We started getting into tunnels, and of course when you're in tunnels they're even narrower. So I decided that I couldn't sit in the traffic any longer because Wilbur was getting so hot. Sat there, and at least if I'm rolling forward there's air going over the engine and you get some sort of cooling, because the alternative is you've just got to stop. There's a couple of bikers there, they've packed it in and parked up, and then I let a local biker through here and I figure, well, he's filtering, we must be okay to do that. So steady away, we'll just keep at it, and I'll pick my line through the traffic and let him actually make a gap for me, which he did. It was terrible. But anyway, we got through Kristiansand and we started heading out the other side into more roadworks, but at least we're moving. and as we get further south from there, it just started to open up slowly but surely. The traffic dropped off, the roads got a bit quieter, and we started getting up into the edge of the forests and some fjords. And this was really my first glimpse of what we were hoping to see from Norway. This is much better than tunnels full of traffic. We're heading down here beside some of the lakes and the rivers and a bridge across it. Definitely riding with a smile on our face. But I could feel oil on my foot and the footrest, and I stopped at a petrol station and there was oil everywhere. Poor Wilbur. Well, the good news is I found my oil leak, and I bought another litre of oil in as I'm at the petrol station here. And the bad news is it's in about the most inaccessible place on the whole bike. But anyway, I'm just going to have to deal with it. We've got to take the tank, carburettor, inlet manifold and everything off to get to it. And it's the rear rocker cover feed for the oil. But anyway, it's the way it is. I've lost half a litre of oil coming here. I've got another litre with me. So I reckon that's enough to get to the campsite with oil everywhere. And I can deal with it tomorrow and just accept tomorrow might not be a riding day. So our plan was to ride down the E39, turn left at Flekkefjord and then follow the Rv44, 64 kilometres to Egersund. And what a treat that turned out to be. There was no traffic, the roads, they wind their way through the fjords. The first half of the road is like a moonscape and it takes you up and down through these fjords, and just amazing. The second half of it was completely open scenery, so the road was definitely a road of two halves. Very different, and just the scenery was amazing. This is exactly what we needed to round the day off. Well, we finally made it to Egersund. The camping is just on the side of the lake here, and we're going past the little red fishing huts. You can see the sun's already gone behind the mountains here. It was much later than we usually ride, but anyway, just an amazing ride to wrap the day out with. The great scenery on the left here. We're looking for the camping. It's only about half a kilometre up round here. There it is, where that motorhome's just pulled out of. We can get ourselves into here and we'll get checked in. Here we are. Steinsnes camping, that'll do nicely. Wander our way through the bit of the campsite here, and they've got a special area put aside just for people on push bikes and motorcycles. Just on the right here, we'll find ourselves a spot and get pulled in. That'll do just nicely, thank you very much. We're here. Well, that was a serious amount of riding. It's 8 o'clock. Yep, 8 o'clock, and I set off at 2 p.m, so that's 6 hours, and I've pretty much ridden solid except for putting oil and petrol in. And I've come straight over the road to the restaurant here. Got a Coke because it's a non-alcohol restaurant, it's just a roadhouse. And I'm going to get some tea, some ice cream, have a cold drink, and then get over there and get camp set up. Yeah, tomorrow's maintenance day. But wow, the Rv44, so the first half of the Rv44 is just twisty hairpins fjord madness, 30 kilometres an hour stuff, and the second part of it, which is the second 30 kilometres or so, is basically their equivalent to the TT course, it would appear. Long fast flowing corners, and judging by the people driving it, it is used as the local racetrack training centre. Norway, the first 7 hours of that riding, 6 hours, I rode for 6 hours, the first 5 hours were pants, traffic jams, motorways, concrete, and the last hour was amazing. So I hope that is a precursor for what's to come. So join us next time when we make cups of tea. We start to take Wilbur to pieces. The inlet manifold comes off. We find the source of our oil leak, which is that ferrule. Luckily we've got stuff we need to repair it. We make more tea, and then we use the camping stove to make a repair on that broken pipe. The frying pan handle takes one for the team and gets turned into parts for Wilbur. We get Wilbur back together again, and then we can have a wander out for a test drive and make sure everything's okay. So we go and head to the coast and we find this amazing scenery here. This is about 6 p.m, so it's just starting to get that Arctic light, and we find the oldest cast iron lighthouse in Norway. So join us next time.